Everybody, welcome back to the channel. For today, we have a special video put together for you for those that are looking to get started in real estate investing for the very first time, but may not quite understand what they need to do to get started. So in today's video, we have put together the 5 steps needed to start investing in real estate properties. So stay tuned, it's coming up. So let's go ahead and jump into today's video. Now, if you are anything like me, you've probably been flipping through the channels and you turned on HGTV and you saw people out there flipping houses or buying up old properties and fixing them up. And then you probably scratched your head and you got to thinking, that's great now, but how do I get started in that type of business? Well, you're in luck. For today, we're going to be talking about the 5 steps to start investing in real estate. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So the very first step that you need to do when it comes to starting a successful real estate investing business is you need to make sure that you educate yourself, right? You will need to determine what type of real estate to invest in. For example, active income versus passive income. Active income is your fix and flips. Those are generally your in and outs, your short-term investments. Passive income is your buy and holds, and those are typically your longer-term investments, right? Once you determine what type of real estate you want to invest in, now you need to determine what type of properties will you target, right? For example, single-family homes versus multifamily homes. Single-family homes can be great for both passive and active income, while multifamily homes are usually better suited for passive income. All right, so that's step 1. That is to educate yourself. Step 1 and step 2 kind of go hand in hand together, because when it comes to educating yourself, you will also need to do a lot of research. You want to make sure that you do your research. Now, before starting any business, you want to make sure you know what you are getting into. You want to make sure that you at least research these 3 main areas. And we're going to start with asset protection. Well, what is that? Well, you need to know how to protect yourself and your personal assets from liability issues. We're going to talk a little bit more about asset protection in step number 3, but just remember that, asset protection. Next we have is the target market. Where will I be investing? Will I try to stay more locally, or will I go where the market determines is the best opportunity? For example, you may be currently living in an area that may not be the best fit for you and your goals when it comes to real estate investing. So you may need to look at that next town over. All right. You want to make sure you keep all of your options open. And thirdly, you may be scratching your head and you're saying, well, that's nice and all, but how do I get money to invest in real estate, right? How can I get the financing? Well, you want to make sure that you explore all options for financing. You want to get a better understanding of traditional loans, which are your traditional banks, your Wells Fargo's, the Bank of America's of the world, versus private capital, your hard money lenders, right? Now, for us personally, we typically use private capital because these lenders allow for you to purchase properties in the name of the business and not your own. Now, why is this important? Well, this allows for you to avoid having several properties tied to your own personal credit, which could trigger an IRS audit if you are not careful. The more properties you have tied to your personal credit, the more of a red flag you become for the IRS. So you want to make sure that you are doing your proper research. And part of that research is going to segue us right into our 3rd step, which is you need to create a limited liability company, better known as an LLC. So why is this so important? Well, remember earlier we mentioned the word asset protection. Well, an LLC protects you and your assets from certain liability if someone tries to sue you. This also allows you to purchase properties in your business's name and not your own, so you are less likely to trigger an IRS audit. Remember, we just talked about that. Also, this is very important that a lot of people are not as aware of, but remember, most traditional banks, your Wells Fargo's, your Bank of America's of the world, will not allow you to purchase real estate inside an LLC. And there are limits with how many loans you can have under your personal name when it comes to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. All right. So remember that. That's very, very important. But the best benefit probably of the creating the LLC, in other words, you creating a legal entity, is when it comes time for tax season. Right? Because now you are able to write off just about all of your expenses, which you would not be able to do if you own the property in your personal name. Now, what we like to use, we use a website called inkfile.com to create all of our LLCs. Anytime we're getting ready to purchase a property, we always purchase a property in the name of an LLC. And we use inkfile.com because it's a one-stop shop to create your LLC. It allows you to put in the name that you want to call your business, and then it does the search for you to make sure that name is available in your state. And it also creates the EIN for you as well. Now, don't get me wrong. If you wanted to do this manually and not use a website like inkfile.com or LegalZoom, you definitely can do that, and it will save you money. But just know it's very time consuming. So I like to just throw out the money, pay the servicing fee, and have everything done for me, because Inkfile will also go ahead and register your company with the state for you. All right. So remember that. Step 3, create a limited liability company. All right. So what is step 4? I like step 4. Step 4, now it is time for you to build your team, your squad, right? Teamwork makes the dream work. Now, there are certain things to think about when it comes time to putting together your squad. For example, who can I learn from? How do I make sure my financials are in order? And do I really want to be anyone's landlord? You should be asking yourself these 3 questions when it comes time to building out your team. For question 1, who can I learn from? In order to learn, you need to make sure that you find a great mentor. I always say that there are 2 main ways for learning, and that's through mentors and mistakes. Now, you are definitely going to make mistakes early on, but you need to make sure to minimize them, because in the real estate game, too many mistakes will ultimately cost you money. So go out there and find you a great mentor. The second question that you should be asking yourself, how do I make sure my financials are in order? Well, in order to do that, you need to make sure that you have a CPA readily available. Now, you want to always make sure you are keeping tight financials, and a CPA will become your best friend. We use QuickBooks Online to track our financials, and then when it comes time for tax season, we simply just create a username and a password and grant our CPA access to our QuickBooks. And then he and his team can go in there and make sure that we are financially secured. So have a CPA readily available. All right. Now, the last question you're asking yourself is, do I really want to be anyone's landlord? And if you are anything like me, the answer to that question is no. So if that is you, then you want to make sure you find a great property management company. Now, this is for those using the buy and hold strategy, the passive income, right? You need a property management company to manage those properties. So trust me, you just do not want to be anybody's landlord. It is the property management company. They are the ones that will be responsible for handling that 3 a.m. plumbing issue, and not you. It will be the property management company responsible for filing for that eviction, and not you. It will be the property management. It will be the ones responsible for collecting all the rents at each month, and not you. It would be the property management company that are the ones that are responsible for filling those vacant units and not you. Because remember, at the end of the day, the property management company does not get paid if that unit is not filled. So it is beneficial for them to make sure that your unit is not only filled, but filled with good qualified tenants. So you need to make sure you get a great property management company. Now, most of these companies will charge around a 10% fee, which is definitely negotiable, but so worth it. Make sure you find a great property management company. All right. So that leads us to our fifth and final step, which is you need to learn how to evaluate properties. Your most, well, let me back up. When it comes to evaluating properties, we personally use a software called Deal Check to evaluate each potential deal. Now, I will be doing a short video soon on how to use Deal Check to evaluate properties, so stay tuned for that. But Deal Check allows us to run numbers and calculate our ARV. So what is your ARV? Well, your ARV is your after repair value, because you can't even come up with a budget on your renovations if you do not know what that property will be worth after it is fixed up. Deal Check, the software that we use, is great for that. It is also the one-stop shop to find sales comps and rental comps in the area. So when it comes to evaluating properties, your most important numbers to evaluate are, let's start with the first one, your net operating income, better known as NOI. Now, it is calculated by taking your total income and subtracting out operating expenses. Now, once you have this number, you can now go and calculate your capitalization rate, also known as your cap rate. It is your NOI divided by your loan amount. This is an estimator of an investor's potential return on their real estate investment. The cap rate is also an indicator of the risk. Usually the higher the risk equals a higher reward. So you like to have a higher cap rate percentage. Also, that third number that you want to calculate when evaluating properties is the cash on cash return. And it's calculated as the NOI divided by the amount you paid for the property. This tells you your return on investment relative to the amount of money you are investing to acquire the property. Now, obviously, there's a lot of hard work that goes into building a successful real estate investing company. However, I really believe if you take these 5 steps and really learn them, then you will have your foot in the door and at least have a great starting place. All right. So I hope each and every one of you got something out of this video. And if you did, do me a favor, smash that like button and make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you get notified whenever we upload brand new videos just like this. Because remember, our goal here is to share the knowledge, spread the wealth, and ultimately help you build a legacy one investment at a time. We'll talk soon. Thank you all. Stay blessed. Bye.